the objective is simple. Open the door to a conversation, build relationship, build rapport, and then move them to the natural next step in your marketing and sales funnel. Hello, everyone. My name is Dan O'Brien. I am a senior partner at Action Coach in Central Texas. I'm the founder and CEO of Benefit Marketing and just an all-around marketing, operations, kind of finance-driven guy when it comes to business and all things related to business. Just genuinely love it and love to learn about it, test it, put it into practice, and then kind of share some of my experiences and things I've learned along the way. So as we've gone through, this entire process and learning about marketing and different systems and things like that, one of the big things is, how do I get more leads? How do I get leads for my business overall? So leads are, ultimately the lifeblood of any great business out there. With consistent flow of quality leads, we're able to refine our sales process and adapt our products and services and do it all at a greater rate than we could if we didn't have that consistent flow, right? But how do we generate leads? There's a number of different ways that we can go about accomplishing the goal of generating more leads, but how do we do it? Like, what tactically can we do to start kind of building this process? Simply put, we send messages to databases and invite them into our sphere of influence. It's really no more complex than that. And there's a variety of ways, as I said kind of before, that we can go about doing this. We can send messages in different ways to different people. But at the foundational level, to kind of really get down to the core of it, it's really as simple as that. We send messages to databases and we invite them to become a part of our little sphere of influence. So I absolutely love the book $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi. If you haven't read this book, totally recommend it. But in the book, he shares his framework for generating leads. And it was simplified in such a way that I felt it was just best to kind of share it with you here today. So here are kind of Alex's 4 core ways to get leads. The first one is warm one-to-one outreach, which is essentially sending one-to-one messages to people who know you. So this could be an email, it could be a text message, it could be a direct message on social media like LinkedIn or Instagram. It could be a phone call, it could be a direct mail letter. Like, it doesn't have to be online stuff, but anything that is a one-to-one communication, right, to people who know who you are, that you've had conversation or connection with. So simply build out a database of people who already are connected with you and you've already had some sort of correspondence with in the past. They know who you are, and then just send them messages. Open the door to that next conversation. So this list can be built from contacts in your phone. It can be connections that you have on LinkedIn that you can grab their contact information with or send direct messages on. It can be contacts in your email. Like, if you go back and look through every email that you've sent, like, ever, on all your different email accounts, like, who are all the connections in there? Who are all the people that you could just potentially reach out to? Think about everywhere you've communicated with people in the past and use that as the basis for creating your first outreach list. Then we send them a one-to-one message. So this is the core basics of one-to-one warm outreach. Next then is one-to-one cold outreach. So similar to warm outreach, cold outreach is still one-to-one messages to individuals. So again, via phone, text, email, direct message, carrier pigeon, anything like that is a one-to-one message to the audience. However, the main difference here with cold is that we are now reaching out to an audience or a group of people that don't really know who we are. So this could be a list of names that we created from, let's say, a Facebook group that we're a part of, and we went through and kind of mined through all of that. It could be, we're a part of a chamber of commerce, and we're just going to list out all of the contacts within there. Or it could be lists that we purchased from like list brokers and things like that. But it's a list of people who don't really know who we are, and we're reaching out to them cold, right? So the message will change due to the cold nature of the prospects. But the core methodology remains the same. It's simply sending them a message one-to-one to begin a conversation, to genuinely want to connect with them and have that conversation. The third way then is one-to-many warm. The most common example of this, and the example that Alex gives in his book, is posting content on social media platforms, things like that. So if you think about it, we have a database of people who know who we are. They've chosen to follow, subscribe, connect, all of those types of things. They know who we are, and they're kind of seeing the things that we do. So we take this audience and now we send them a message to the group overall. So instead of one-to-one messages, we're now sending a message that's meant to be received by the entire group or the entire audience. So rather than personalize, it's a little bit more of creating a message that is meant to be consumed by a mass audience on that particular platform. Now, what's kind of cool is this same concept can also be done offline. So the big example that comes to my mind are things like speaking engagements or presentations in front of your local chamber or BNI or insert group here. It's an audience who already knows who you are, that you've had some correspondence or communication with, and now you're sending a message to them as a group and having that larger context of conversation. That is the basis for one-to-many warm. The final area, the final of the core four, as he calls it, is the one-to-many cold. So similar to the previous strategy, when it's one-to-many warm, this cold strategy is a message sent to a group or a mass audience. This time, the audience doesn't know who we are. So the best example of this is paid ads. So regardless of the platform, so think Google, think Facebook, think LinkedIn ads, like that sort of thing. We're harnessing that database that we do not own, but we have the ability to control through ads and sending a message, putting a billboard, essentially a digital billboard, in front of that particular group to send them a message to open the door to that conversation. So paid ads can be online, as I said, Google, Facebook, etc., or it can also be offline. These are things that have been around forever. Things like magazines, billboards, newspapers. I think that's still a thing. But the idea is it's a paid advertisement to people who don't know who you are. So it's mass audience message to people who do not know us yet, with the intention to build that first part of the conversation. So in each of these core four strategies, the objective is simple. Open the door to a conversation, build relationship, build rapport, and then move them to the natural next step in your marketing and sales funnel, which is everything that we've been talking about over the last few weeks when it comes to marketing. So as we master each of these four, right? That's kind of the first piece. We learn the core four, we work through these pieces, and as we master it, we can start to, according to Hormozi, start to create leverage by deploying others to do the core four on our behalf. So this is where we get into team, clients or referrals, agencies, affiliates, different groups of people that can do each of these kind of four different core strategies on our behalf to continue to generate leads. So to go deep on any of those, for more information on these strategies and how to use leverage and using others to kind of create that leverage, highly recommend that you take a moment and check out Alex's book, $100 Million Leads. When you look back at each of your current marketing and lead generation strategies today, each will likely fall into one of the four categories. I encourage you to just take a moment, map out which strategies fit in which of these buckets, and really clarify the focus and effort needed to increase the lead flow. Remember, as we begin to level up in our marketing, it's better to go deep first and then wide. So pick a few strategies. Pick a few strategies that generate the largest flow of qualified leads currently in your business. Maximize these first. Once we've maxed out the capacity and we begin to kind of scale that up, right? And we get to that max out point, kind of starts to plateau, then we can start to scale up an additional channel. Focus and energy on things that work, i.e. the right things in our business will grow the business faster than trying to do everything all at once. So pick one or two that are doing well today and start to look at how do we increase that flow by doing a little bit more and getting a little bit better at our messaging. So for those of you that have not completed an audit of your marketing in the last 90 days or so, be sure to click the link in the video description below or in the podcast notes below for access to our free marketing audit. It's complimentary. We'll take you through the entire process and make sure that you are set up for success with your marketing. That's all for this week. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more on kind of the content side of things when it comes to marketing next week. So make sure that you're subscribed. Check out all of the amazing things that are continue to go on. My name is Tanner O'Brien, and I will see you again next week.